if you really want to have a drastic change in 2026, I think you need a full rebrand. Make sure you stay to the end of this episode because I have something special for you. Do you scroll TikTok lately? That's me. Take it from me someday. I truly believe that a well-crafted story has a chance to impact athletes and brands and people all over the country to unite them. Welcome back to another episode of the Unseen Podcast. I'm your host, Roman Isaiah. Isaiah is my middle name, kind of in the middle of a rebrand, which is great for this topic because we're talking about how to rebrand yourself in the year 2026. If you're someone who's very ambitious, someone who has big dreams, someone who wants to become the best version of yourselves, and you have over the last maybe couple years or last year, you spend time setting your goals and talking about new habits that you wanted. And maybe this year in 2025, you started off the year strong, but like maybe fell off or maybe you never started at all, or you're somewhere in between. Maybe you didn't even have a goal setting plan going into 2025. No matter where you are on that spectrum, I think this video will help you. If you're looking for 2026 to be your year, for things to be different, for you to go after your dreams and not just set them, but actually accomplish them. Not just talk about the habits that you want to change or write them down, but actually change your habits for the better. I have a belief that one, that's not an easy thing to do. I think people underestimate how hard it is to change, even the smallest of habits. It's funny because like it's really simple to change, but it's hard at the same time. And I think that I would say from my perspective, things that I've done in the past is assume that all I need to do is tweak this here and tweak that here, and my life will be changed. Things will be different. And the reality is that things a lot of times are more difficult. I believe change requires us actually to a lot of times change our identity, change how we see ourselves, change our mindset, change our belief. Before we can even change our habits, our patterns, before we can even reach our goals, we have to become the version of ourselves that can achieve those goals. And that starts with your identity. And so I think this episode is about not just changing your patterns, not just changing your habits, not just setting new goals. You probably already done those things. This video is about changing your identity and creating a new identity that allows you to actually accomplish those things. And that's why this episode is about fully rebranding yourself, because with a change in identity, you literally change who you are in the area that you want to change in, not just a little tweak here, a tweak there. But if you really want to have a drastic change in 2026, I think you need a full rebrand. And I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to you because I want change. And I feel like the last few years I've set goals and some of them maybe accomplished, some of them didn't, but some of them I've been intentional with, some of them I've fallen off on. I don't want to do that this year. The reason why that's been the case, I think, is partly because I didn't do the deeper work of working on my identity and going through things like shame and guilt and how I see myself and belief patterns. All those different things that are very important to achieve my goals. You know, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have the right mindset, it's going to be hard to achieve your goals. The times I've been most successful in my life are the times I had the most amount of belief in myself. I would stay and watch this full episode because at the end of this episode, you're going to know what you need to do to set you off on the right path in 2026 to fully rebranding yourself. Oh yeah, almost forgot. Make sure you stay to the end of this episode because I have something special for you. I'm revealing the Dark 30 Challenge, which is a challenge a friend of mine came up with a few years ago. And something I try to do at the beginning of each year to kind of reset. I think it's going to be super helpful to just starting off the year right. So make sure you stay to the end because I think that's going to be one of the most valuable things that you can receive on this episode. All right. So before we get into how we're going to rebrand ourselves in 2026, first, let's talk about what a rebrand actually is. It incorporates 4 different things. 1, a change in mindset, a change in belief. What do you believe about yourself? What is your mindset? How do you approach life? How do you approach things that are happening in your life? How do you respond to difficult things that is going on? Are you process oriented or are you focusing on the outcome? Things like that. Your mindset and how you approach your life, I think, is foundational into actually rebranding yourself. I truly do believe that it all starts in the mind. It also means a change in your systems. I said this on an episode before. I truly believe this. And it's something that I'm trying to incorporate more of. I don't know why it took me so long to just accept this. I've always tried to do things on willpower, but in reality, you rise or fall to the level of your systems. What systems do you have in place? A part of Rebrand is setting up your life for a way that is conducive for you to be successful, for you to be able to reach the goals that you're setting for yourself. How do you set those systems is truly important. The next thing is a change in your environment. What is your apartment looks like or house looks like? What does your room look like? If you're creative, is it conducive to being creative? Where are you most productive? What places do you go where you can think more creatively if you are creative? What people are constantly around you? I think that's part of your environment as well. Who are you hanging around? What are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you hearing? Being a part of your environment, all these things kind of make up your environment. And so part of changing your identity and rebranding yourself is changing your environment. The fourth point is a change in identity. Let's look up in a dictionary and see how the dictionary describes identity. Okay, so identity is defined by the fact of being who or what a person or thing is. Identity is more incorporating a particular persona, not something that's fake, but actually the truest form of you. I think it's thinking of it from a sense of if you are a content creator, actually thinking about what does a content creator do? What do they do on a daily basis? What are their routines? What are their habits? Where do they go? And I think it's thinking about it from that framework. And so, yeah, that's really the core part of rebranding yourself. You have to define what your identity is and actually embracing the identity of the person you want to become. What we're going to do is like a little practice to help us kind of get an idea of what it's like to rebrand yourself and kind of put you in a position to start to set a good framework for how we're going to set new goals for 2026. So take some time to actually reflect. Just stop what you're doing. Maybe close your eyes. Maybe open a notebook to write this down. But think about where you are right now and who you are and how do you see yourself. Be honest with yourself. You don't have to lie to yourself. Be honest with who you are and how you see yourself right now. Think about it from every aspect of your life, your career, your mental and emotional health, your finances, relationships, all of those things. Just think about it for a second and think about where you are in your life with all of those things. Also, feel free to pause to take the time to actually work through that. Do you believe if you try, you can succeed, that you would succeed? Do you believe in the process over results? Do you believe in the journey over destination? And this is a big one. What do you actually say to yourself? What are your thoughts when you think about yourself on a daily? Are there positive? Are there negative thoughts or sayings that you say? I know that I have a lot of negative thoughts, so I struggle with this. And it's something that I'm actively working on. So what are your thoughts? So now we're going to take a look at some of your habits. What are your daily habits? Mentally and physically. Do you work out daily? Do you meditate daily? Do you scroll TikTok lately? That's me. I scroll too much TikTok. That's a problem. What do you do daily? What are your habits, good and bad? Do you have intentional systems set in place in your life? Systems set in place intentionally to create better habits for yourself. What does your environment look like? Your home environment, the things that you're listening to, the things that you're watching. I know for me, my place as I speak is dirty. I need to clean. And it's not conducive for the higher version of myself that is a podcaster. I need a good clean space to feel my mind to feel clear and for me to feel creative. That's just as an example. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at and reflect on our sense of identity. Do you see yourself as like a creative? I do. Or do you see yourself as more like a scientist? Or do you see yourself as a engineer? Do you see yourself as an expert? What does that look like for you in your field? What do you identify with the most? If someone was going to ask me, who am I in relation to my job? I would say I'm a creative. Or I would say like I'm a visionary, a creative visionary. Next one is more like a character trait. And this can be multiple, by the way. This doesn't have to be one thing. So write them down or just think about it. But the next one is more of a character trait. Like, how do you define yourself character-wise? Is it resilient? Is it gritty? Is it patient? Is it kind? Is it honest? Is it peace? How do you define your story? For me, I characterize with being an underdog and a dreamer. And so that's my story. I'm a dreamer. I'm an underdog in my story. Think about that for you. What does that look like for you? Think about your life. Think about the things that you've done. Think about the challenges you come across, the things that you've been able to overcome or the things that you fall into. And just think about how would you define who you are within your journey, within your story. All right, so now still within our practice, we're going to visualize our dream life. Visualize the highest version of ourselves, the best version of ourselves. And whether you close your eyes or you're writing in your notebook pad or whatever the case might be, take some time to reflect and think about what is the best version of me? What is the dream version of my life look like? And again, think about this from every aspect of your life, your physical, your emotional health, your spiritual health, or your spiritual life, your finances, your career, your relationships. Think about the impact you will have in this life, this version of you. Think about the lives you would change. Think about the impact on your family or your friends or just the people in your community or the world at large. Now what we're going to do is think about the gap in between. What does that gap look like from the version that you are now to that version? Is there a gap? Think about that dream version of you that we're just thinking about and all the people you impact and all those things that you would be doing and the life that you would have and how fulfilling it would be to you. Now think about that dream version of you. What do they do on the daily basis? What are their habits? What are their systems? How do they talk about themselves? How is their mindset? Where do they go? Who are the people around them? What's their environment like? Where do they live? How do they act? What is their character? How do they treat people? The reality is that dream version of you is you. It's not somewhere outside of you. It's something that's within you. And there are parts of your life that you can change right now to become that version of yourself. If you erase external accomplishments and these goals, the accomplishments and goals can seem far-fetched. But when you think about it from a sense of systems and habits and the character, that can be developed now. That's within you right now if you actually want to work on those things and better those things, which I believe all of you do because you're here watching this podcast. So you know that, you believe that. And so you know you want change and it's capable and it's all within you. So I want you to think about what parts of your identity, what parts of your systems, what parts of your habits are keeping you away from that version of yourself. What is the gap there that needs to happen for you to become that version of yourself? Think about how you can start to live that version of you today. Think about what systems, what habits can you change? How can you change your environment to create a space, to create that version of you now? Again, I want to reiterate, I think we a lot of times think that the life we want is something outside of us when really it's within us. This is about controlling what you can control. And a lot of times you can reach your goals and a life that you desire by controlling the things that you can control, and that you eventually becomes the person that will achieve those things because you're already that person. I feel like I've heard this on a couple rap songs. I don't know who says this, but I was rich before I was actually rich. I think you get to those external things by focusing on the internal and making that a priority and focusing on the things that you can control on the daily that will lead to the outcomes of you being successful. Think about what systems can you change today? What parts of your environment can you change now? What habits can you start to activate now? As we get ready to go into 2026, what parts of your identity can you align with? I keep harping on the creative because that's easier for me, but creators create. That's what they do. They're always creating. Now, what type of creator you are, whether you're a social media creator, you're an artist, whether you're a podcaster, maybe you're a musician, whatever type of creative you are, they create. If you're a writer, they write, right? And they spend time writing daily. It's a part of their practice. If you're an athlete, you work out, you train, you lift, you run, right? You watch film, you do all of these things. You take care of your body. What kind of things can you start to align with? I want this channel to be something special. I want to be a great podcaster. I want to eventually have people on my podcast, from athletes to entrepreneurs to creatives and people that are at the top of their field, and having conversations with them. So for me, what does a podcaster of that magnitude, what do they do on a daily? They outline, they take the time to think about their message, they work on it, they think about the type of questions they're going to ask, they prepare for an interview, they prepare to go over and understanding the topic they're going to talk about. They think about ways they can relate to their audience. So if I want to become that podcaster, those are things that I can start to do to become that version of that podcast. So whether or not I have 1 million views or 1 million downloads per episode, or like 5, it doesn't matter. And so now think about what the opportunity cost is of not becoming that person, that dream version of yourself, that dream life that you thought about. Think about what is the opportunity cost of that. Any econ majors out there, shout out to you, former econ major. So sometimes that's exactly what I go to. But what is the cost of not doing? A lot of times we don't think about the negative impact, so because it seems like there's neutral. Like we think there's only good things and bad things you do, and like the bad things are your negative and good things are good. But a lot of times there's non-decisions, which really is a decision, or there's things that you do or don't do, and it seems like you're not doing anything at all, but really it is moving one way or the other, kind of like a sense of complacency. And when you have that, typically you're making decisions on the wrong side, and the bad side that leads to bad habits and bad things, and there's a cost to that. For me, for instance, like it's not necessarily a good or bad habit not to podcast, but knowing that's something that I believe God's calling me to do right now in this aspect of my life, when I don't decide to do that and record and put out episodes, I get further away from the version of myself. I get further away from the best version of myself that I have set out to become. There's a negative outcome to that, right? There's people I'm not going to be able to reach. There's things that I won't be able to do. There's experience that I desire that I won't be able to experience. That's all due to not doing the thing that I am made to do in this moment in life. Take the time to think about what happens when you don't get to those things. What happens when you don't achieve those dreams? What happens when you don't commit to the process? All right. If your eyes were closed that whole time, I don't know if it was, but you can open them. I'm sure it wasn't closed that whole time. The practice that I walked you through is done now. And I hope that really helped you visualize and kind of bridge the gap between here's where I am, here's where I want to go, here's the best version of myself, and actually visualizing it and thinking about it. Here's the things that can happen when I'm acting in that best version of myself and I do live out my dream life. And here's what happened when I don't. I hope this actually sets you up for setting your goals into 2026. Before you set any external goal, think about, is this beneficial to the best version of myself? Is this beneficial to the higher version of myself, the higher version of me that has my dream life? And I hope it actually motivated you and inspired you to know that these things that you can achieve is within you. You know, the goals that you want, it's not outside of you. The goals that you want, it's just a higher version of yourself. And sure, that requires a more disciplined version of you. That requires a person that leans on their systems, not willpower. That requires a person that have a different mindset, that actually believes that they're capable of achieving the things that they want to achieve. That requires a person that's working in alignment with identifying with the person that they want to become. Yes, like all those things are true, but the great thing is all those things you can control. Those things are within you, and you don't have to wait for something to happen. You don't have to wait for you to get this promotion or sign this deal or like reach this milestone to start to finally live these things out. There's a parts of your dream routine, daily routine, morning routine that you can do now that, you know, points you into the right direction of that dream version of yourself. There's systems and habits you can do right now that leads you into that version of yourself. And I truly, truly believe when you take the time to work to actively pursue the process, when you take the time to actually pursue becoming the best version of yourself, and excluding, not even thinking about the external things from that book. Truly focus on the process and truly focus on your habits, your systems, your environment, all those different things, your identity, your mindset. You will succeed. You will reach your goals in life. You will do more than you would ever imagine if you can lock in on that, if you can focus on that. And so this year in 2026, it's about focusing on the process, focusing on that, and not getting focused on external results. But like I said before, it should have encouraged you and inspired you to realize it's all in my control. But the reality is, it's simple, knowing that like I can change these things and my life can change my goal and I can reach my goals and do all these things. But the reality is it's hard to do. It's easy to say, but it's hard. It's freaking hard to do. Change is hard. It's not easy. It's not easy. You can't just tweak this or tweak that. A lot of times it requires a different version of you. So you're going to fall. You're going to make mistakes. This year, things are going to happen. You're going to miss a day. You're going to set out to do something and you won't do it. But I think that moment right there is a defining moment of what you do next. Because I've had moments in my life where I set out to do this thing and I didn't do it. And now I'm just done. Or like I just stop the process. The process is a daily pursuit. You're on the pursuit of becoming your best version of yourself, which does not mean perfection, which means you will fail, which means there's some days you won't hit the mark. It's okay. Have grace for yourself and realize you have another opportunity, another day to reach those goals. Shame is keeping us from continuing to pursue. We get shamed about doing something that we said we're going to do or not doing something that's in alignment with our higher selves. And then we just stop instead of having grace for yourself and realizing I messed up, but there's this next opportunity. Things happen in life. It's how you respond to the things that happen, whether it was self-inflicted or not. How you respond to things that happen in your life will dictate your life. So now, to the Dark 30 challenge. I'm super excited to share this with you guys. Everything that we talked about focus and discipline and habits changing, I think it can all start with the Dark 30 challenge, and doing it can just get you focused and locked in and on the right path mentally as you start off the year. I think it's a fun challenge. It's only 30 days. It's not like you got some other challenges, 75 days out there, 100 days. Like it's just 30 days to lock in, to start off the new year and really focus on the things that are most important to set yourself up for success throughout the rest of the year. What is Dark 30? I'm going to break it down. It's 7 rules that you have to follow every single day for 30 days. Rule number 1, select and write down 3 tasks that you need to accomplish every single day at the start of the day. At the end of the day, these 3 things must be accomplished. Simple as that. Whatever they are, these are non-negotiable things that you need to do for the day and that you set out to do, and you're going to accomplish them. This helps with, 1, just focusing on the main things, the main priorities that are important. So focusing on those and knocking those out. Rule number 2, one of my favorites, identify 1 action outside of your comfort zone to take every single day. For me, some of the things I've done in the past, wake up before 7 a.m. I'll wake up before 6 a.m. because I'm not a morning person. And it's definitely outside of my comfort zone. Doing that every day was definitely getting out of my comfort zone. So it can be simple like that. For you, maybe like need to grow your network and like you're like, okay, so I'm just going to go to someone and talk to someone every day. I don't know. Whatever it might be, do 1 thing that's outside of your comfort zone every single day. Rule number 3, at least 1 hour of no technology. So this is no phone, no camera, no computer, fully technology free and away from it completely. This is kind of there for you to spend time with your own self and kind of self-reflect on life, and also gives you more time back in your day. You just feel more productive when you're not using technology sometimes. Also with rule number 2, getting outside your comfort zone, that is about building resilience, or it's about really building grit and being able to do something that you don't like over and over and over again and kind of building that resilience and grit to it. Rule number 4, reflect on each day by journaling or auto logging. I put in the auto logging because Sometimes I just like hate writing, and I'd rather just like turn on voice memos and talk about my day and the things that I've learned and things like that. But it's up to you. Just reflect on each day, however you like to do it. Reflect on every day. It's good to reflect and become more self-aware. I think this is the opportunity to do that. And, this Dark 30 is not just about creating these better disciplines, but I think it's something that will help you mentally, emotionally, physically, overall. I think it's something that also creates habits that you can take on from this challenge and not just be done with it from there. Dedicate at least 45 minutes a day to be active, whatever that is for you. Spend at least 15 minutes a day outside. It's just good for your health to be outside at some point. I know it's tough sometimes. And also if you're where it's going to be cold, like where I am in New York, it's going to be cold. It's kind of tough sometimes, but 15 minutes, everyone can do that. And it's good. No matter what the weather's like, it's good to just be outside for a few moments of the day. Rule number 7, incorporate a wellness activity into your morning routines or night routine. For example, one of the things I've done in the past is I've done daily affirmations. I've added that to my routine. I've also done meditation as well. Whatever wellness routine, it can be a physical wellness, it can be mental, emotional wellness, spiritual. This one's a bonus for anyone who wants to do this. The bonus is check in on a friend or family member at least once a week. Other challenge, I'm not going to say every day because I think that's a lot, but like at least once a week, check in with a friend or someone in your community or have lunch with somebody or like whatever it is. I think it's important to do those things. I think in this day and time, in this culture where everyone's so individualistic, which I can definitely fall into a lot of times, we need a community. We need the people around us and they need us. And so I want you to be focused on yourself and your goals and improving, but also know that there's life outside of you. So get out and check on other people. I suck at this, but that's why it's in there so I can get better at it. And I know a lot of other people may struggle with the same. So again, that's the Dark 30 challenge. I think it's truly going to be super beneficial to you to start off the new year in 2026. And again, this is something to help you not just to do things to make you feel more productive or busier. It's something to actually benefit you overall, your mental, emotional, physical wellness, and even spiritually. It is there to build those things up in your life. So yeah, take advantage of this challenge. It's a great springboard into the new year. And then after this challenge, just continue to use that momentum into the rest of the year. And that's kind of the goal with this challenge. So yeah, that's it. Take it from me someday.